What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday afternoon, and since it's been such a long time since I've come to the beach, I figured today would be the perfect day. And I hope the music's not too loud over there. It's coming from over there at one of the beach clubs, but as you can see, there's a real contrast between the hues in the water on this side and then over here. It's way, I don't know, you've got the emerald waters over here, and on the other side it's nice, but it's not quite as deep and beautiful, you know? I'm gonna take a seat. So, what are we talking about today? Out here in Cancun, just chilling. One thing that I wanted to touch on is business is a networking game. And I think I've said this before in my videos, but just because I'm not a millionaire yet or anything doesn't mean I can't talk about business as I'm doing it, right? And it also doesn't mean I can't be transparent about what I'm doing so that you guys don't make the same mistakes as me. Because chances are, if you have a problem in your life, in a specific area like business, chances are someone else out there probably has the same problem or something similar. So here's something that happened to me the other day. Let's wind the clock back to July, the beginning of July. So it's about a month and a half ago. I took on a project with a professional copywriter who I discovered through Upwork, and we took on an e-commerce email marketing project on Klaviyo. Okay, so basically I was tasked with writing the copy and designing these emails. And it was about like 30 of them. So it was 5 core flows, okay? If you know anything about email marketing, it was the welcome sequence, the abandoned cart sequence, the post-purchase sequence, the customer win-back sequence, and the browse abandonment sequence. And in total, it was about 30 emails, okay? And so I did it, and it took quite a while, I'm not gonna lie. Now, looking back now, I probably could have just banged them out within maybe 3 days tops, but because I really wanted to wow this guy so that he would see that, hey, he has potential, Sebastian has potential, and I want to keep working with him, I really took my time with it. And then we sat down together on a Zoom call and went through every single email. We adjusted the tone, we edited it, and then this pro copywriter guy, he presented these emails to the client, who I have no contact with, and the client said, oh yeah, I like them so far. And then get this, about a week later, the client comes out of nowhere and tells him, hey, I was taking a look through the emails again, and you know, they don't really speak, they don't really encapsulate the voice of the brand, and I feel like we need to make some major edits to about 90% of them. So I thought, okay, I'm not happy about that, but I will do the edits, right? And so I went through that, cost me another couple of hours, and I brought them to this pro copywriter again, and he brought them to the client. And once again, the client said, no, I'm not satisfied, blah, 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 you need to change this, blah, blah, blah. And so it got me thinking, like, first of all, I'm not gonna say his name, but this pro copywriter should have had a contingency plan of some sort, especially after being in the copywriting business for so long, right? Any kind of service that you're doing, any kind of product, it's suggested that you have some kind of terms of agreement, right? Because otherwise you have a client that's abusive like this who is, since there's no written terms, they're just gonna keep hounding you to, hey, you have to change this and this and this. And also a lot of clients will really be a drain on your time, and they'll demand that you get on calls with them when they want it, and that you answer their emails or their messages right away, which I don't suggest that you agree to, because as a freelancer or as a service provider, your time is valuable as well, and you need to be allocating that towards fulfilling and doing what you do best. But in this case, this client, they're both very picky and also very They didn't really know what they were doing. It was revealed to me later that this client is actually, like, his business has been in the red for the last couple of months. So clearly the guy, he's been making some bad investments. Anyways, at the end of the day, I really didn't hear from this pro copywriter guy for a couple of days. Actually more like a week. And then I started reaching out. I said, hey, is there anything that you'd like me to help with? I hope my work was up to your standards. If not, I'd be happy to help you out in any way. But at the back of my mind, you know, I was being polite. At the back of my mind, I was thinking, yeah, you need to pay me. I don't care. I don't care what arrangement you had with your client. If I'm working for you, you need to pay me, right? And I got half up front, and then later, as more edits were required, he told me, oh, I'll give you, I'll just say it, it's $400 total, so a pathetic amount of money for the amount of work that I'm doing, the amount of value I'm bringing. So I got $200 up front. I was supposed to get paid $200 later, and then he said, oh, I'll give you another $200 for these extra edits. And I thought, fine, but I never got that money. And if it weren't for a recent windfall, like out of nowhere really, I probably wouldn't have been able to pay my rent. So it is my fault, obviously, for not having more of a handle on my finances, but at the same time, and this kind of relates back to what I was saying earlier about having written terms, right? I'm working for this guy and he's just like, yeah, I'll give you half up front and then half later. But nowhere was to specify that I would, you know, not get paid if the client didn't pay or anything. I did the work, right? I took hours of my life to do this, counting on the fact that I would get paid and my rent would get paid, and he didn't pay me. So I'm just wondering, like, what would you guys do in a situation like that, right? Because what I did is, I chose to be more diplomatic about it, right? I didn't mention that, hey, I need to get paid, you owe me. I figured, okay, why don't we play the long game a little bit, right? This guy can give me some more work up front. However, if he's gonna give me another project, he needs to pay me more, right? Because I'm not gonna accept such a low amount of money. And he, on his end, of course, he can make the argument that, oh, well, you're still a rookie, and we still need to know how, you still need to prove that you can deliver value. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, if you're a decent human being, you're gonna pay someone for the work that they do, right? As an employer, as a mentor, as someone, right? If you were in my shoes, how would you feel to have put in, you know, more than 20 hours of work into something as a freelancer, right? Not even having a stable income, and only to be met with, you know, a result like this, right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And if you're watching this, this is what I actually think, right? That's not right. Of what you did isn't right. I don't care if you spent, you know, 5 years in a Thai prison and you converted to Christianity and all this stuff, right? You may think you're a really good person and all that, but your actions are showing me that you aren't. Maybe some of you will know who I'm talking about now that I mentioned that, but I'm not going to name names. Anyways, guys, moral of the story, have some kind of written agreement. Make sure that you're not being taken advantage of by your clients. Make sure that you choose good clients and that you draw the line, you set boundaries so that they're not abusing you, and that they value the service that you're giving them, that they understand that you're the pro, that you are being hired by them to take over an area that they might have some expertise in, but they recognize that it would make a lot more sense to hire someone like you who has more experience in this area and who can deliver more value. I don't even like to use this general term, but in this case it was literally write copy that can sell, write emails that will sell your product. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There's one little tidbit that I'd like to add. Earlier I said that business is a networking game, and basically you could be very good at what you do. You could have a very good product. If no one knows about it, good luck making any money from it, right? In this case, as a freelance copywriter, as a Klaviyo expert, as an email marketing expert, which I am now, you know, especially compared to most people who are totally clueless about it, I should be, like, frankly, I know that if I had a couple of clients of my own right now, I would be delivering very good emails and I'd be earning them at least the money that they invested in my services, right? But it's a matter of finding these people. It's a matter of connecting with them. And this is probably the hardest thing about online business, right? If you don't have an in, if you don't know someone who can connect you, it's a real uphill battle, right? Because you just have to keep doing cold outreach. You have to send out direct messages to people in the community, right? Or people who you think you might want to work with. And a lot of the times they're just not going to answer you, or they might answer you, but they'll usually be off-put by the idea of being sold something, unless you make them a very good offer. And that's the last thing I'd like to say. In one of my other videos, I mentioned how my neighbor and my student for English lessons is a YouTuber. He's got about 100,000 subscribers, and he was sharing with me yesterday how he had hired I think it was a Facebook ad specialist to get them conversions for a course. And long story short, they didn't deliver. I mean, they did work. They did the work, but there was no return on investment. They sold like one course, which was not enough to pay, the $2,000 fee to hire them, right? And they were not honorable about it, right? They did not give the money back, right? And so it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Or at least, if you have any sense of ethics, morals, you're not going to take someone's money if you didn't provide the value that you promised that you would, right? So this is why it's so important to make a good offer to the market where you mitigate risk. This is where, like for example, I asked him, if the same person had come to you and said, if I don't earn enough revenue to at least cover my service fees, then I will pay you the difference and I'll tack on an extra $100 for wasting your time. Would you have said yes to that? Then he said, yeah, absolutely, because it's no risk to me, right? It's all about risk in business. If you can mitigate risk on your end and they can mitigate risk on their end, because if they're doing a commission deal, then they're only going to lose time. If they do a good job, then they make money. If they don't do a good job, then at least they got some experience, right? So in this case, it works, right? It's a good deal. But again, it comes down to finding people who are willing to agree to those offers and who see or have a hunch that, hey, okay, maybe I should trust this guy. Maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. Because all you really need is one or two of these clients to hit it out of the park for them, and then they'll be like, oh, Sebastian, like, how did I not know about you before? Like, what have you been doing? Have you been living under a rock? Like, I've got some friends to introduce you to, right? Or something like that. But it can change fast. You just have to keep putting in the work. This is the last thing I will say. Business is very much like working out. A lot of guys in business work out. A lot don't. But the principles are the same, and it's that you have to put in a lot of work consistently, despite seeing no major results in the first few stages, right? With fitness, it will, even if you get a good program and a good trainer, it's still going to take you time to figure out what kind of diet suits you best, what kind of training program suits you best. And if we're all honest here, it will take some time for you to build the discipline to sleep at a reasonable hour and get up at a reasonable hour, because a lot of people don't do that, right? And I used to be one of them. Recently, my sleep has been a lot better because I'm prioritizing it. But what are the parallels with business? Is that in business, you're going to be doing a lot of outreach, and you're probably going to do some work for free or for very little in the beginning stages to get your name out there and get the chops and to build up to meeting that one client that's going to change everything for you. That client is going to open an email or a document that you sent them and be like, yo, Sebastian, like, this is outstanding. I'm going to launch it right now. And then they get a bunch of sales and they come to you and say, you have done an incredible job, and I want you to personally write the rest of my emails, or personally design these websites, or write these affiliate articles, or whatever it is, right? I could be wrong, right? If you have more experience in this, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. But so far that's it, guys. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day, walk around, take in the sun, and then go home and do some more work, all right? So take it easy. Sebastian Castillo here. If you like this video, do whatever the fuck you want. Give me a like, subscribe, whatever. In any case, you can also check out my blog, keystotthecastillo.com. And until then, have an incredible day. Take it easy.